you've had an opportunity to get your communication a little bit finer tuned as well. So I think that's really just going to bolster them a little bit. They're going to have the confidence flowing as well. A LAN win under your belt is nothing short of a massive boost to the mental. But let's get this pistol round started as well, because that's the only way we can truly determine whether this grudge match NRG finally break their curse and whether they can take that top 2 slot straight into the upper bracket semifinals.
It's time. This is a team whose opportunities have come and gone for NRG, and this is one of their last fleeting chances to start qualifying for bigger and better things. I mean, obviously, we've laid it out on the table that both of these teams will be seen in the upper bracket of playoffs, but again, cannot be understated enough what it means for NRG to take this swimmingly. So, on the CT side pistol, they start, and not much happens in the mid-round, except some quick spotting. Automatic first contact.
That's a rough one, Breezy. Going to be run on down. CJ does find one, and they have now suddenly got quite an empty site. Automatic's got a nice line of sight, and the rest of the reinforcements are already here. The utility might slow them down a little bit, but they are already ahead of it. Rush gets 2, still wanting a little bit more. George gets 1, Norsack with another, and quick as you like, that is the pistol round done and dusted, and it's flawless.
I don't even know if those were Carson's dualies to begin with. I almost think he yoinked those off of a dead body on site. Point is, still flying colors was that round from Nouns, and NRG already showing maybe some awkward signs of spacing. After that first kill came through in mid, it always felt like they were kind of one step behind where they should be. You saw the reaggression through CT spawn. It's very, very few and far between that you get chances to just take those raw fights to get back into a round without a smoke pit having bloomed. And they even had one, just beat him to the punch. Now, it's a forced buy in which NRG put it all on the line.
Yeah, a little bit apprehensive. No waiting for that retake. If they'd just taken a moment to pause, might have seen something different. But here we go. There's the fight again. Automatic, a little bit too antsy to try take this fight. And suddenly, 2-player disadvantage. They forced an OC with the scouts, a weapon that's really coming back into style recently. Nade is only going to tickle them, and they're struggling to keep this boost going and spotting anybody over, and actually nobody going to show face just yet. It is Rush on the other side, but just being a little bit of a placeholder at the moment. That bomb is clearly committed towards B right now. I like the presence, however, they've got from George elsewhere. Can cut off the rotates from Breezy potentially, but no, it's going to take them on down. But I think that might actually, they're toying with the idea of a rotate because of the lack of the information they've received elsewhere.
Yeah, that kill is huge. That not only spot of the bomb, I mean, originally Nouns had that second prong to go back to A if things went awry, but losing George in Donut's kind of a big deal. It's still not necessarily numbers up, but it's a good look.
Here's a Rush. There's the first one. Sits to the corner of the shoulder. OC finds one and actually goes for another peek. Not going to be able to yield any more results, and Breezy has already done so much for the team. That opening pick needs to be a little bit more. There's the first. Knife is out. Is going to have to clear out CJ here. It's a rough angle. Is he even going to expect it? He does kind of clear it, but he double guesses himself. And there's CJ with the kill and a second round for Nouns. They dismantle the force buy. And that puts NRG's economy in the dirt.
I mean, Nouns kind of took a big risk there. You saw them instantly go up the gates, run out mid, and say, we're going to win our duels, and then dangle that advantage in front of you for the remainder of the round. You saw instantly George not only takes one with him in mid, but completely sets up shop in Donut, forces NRG to have to move back in at multiple different angles in which you just start seeing them get collapsed upon. Nouns, so many different ways to out that round, so many audibles they can call on the fly, and even though, yes, things do initially go wrong in the mid-round toward A, it's just so strong at B that it doesn't matter. Same here.
Exactly. Norsack already taken so much space. That smoke and a cut off automatic. I say smoke, sorry, Molotov and a smoke just to do it, but does manage to get one. Breezy firing through the smoke, manages to get another, and suddenly out of nowhere, somewhat luck, somewhat skill, and a little bit of that spidey sense in the background, they managed to award themselves a huge advantage. No weapons to be retrieved just yet. And OC, the trigger discipline, it's actually not going to work for him. He doesn't manage to find the kill, and George just trying to put some space between him. That Molotov going to force the fight, isolates the damage with Hexed, and now OC's low. That kill would have been everything because they still would have 4 players alive. But now that bomb gets to go down off the back of all of that. Nitro so close already, but Junior going to put a halt to that one. Automatic OC. OC really needs to atone for those missed shots right here, right now. But honestly, what can they find? Locked out by the smokes, and they're not fading anytime soon.
And OC's chances there, and they are going to feel that for the next few rounds. They still are ample to take these fights back in. OC on 7 HP, though, as you said. What can you really ask for here? I think the answer will be a swift win and nothing. Same with automatic. And the Pistols do not seem to have a Cinderella story in them. And that feels like it's a round robbed from them. You mentioned it. I entirely agree. OC finds that kill in mid. It's open season. Guns litter the battlefield for NRG to pick up, wield, and stop them from getting into the B site's prowess. But one kill goes awry. You get info on 2 players now isolated in mid. You know it's pistols v rifles and even numbers at B. You just scale up and it is what it is.
Indeed. OC on the AWP. And hopefully we can see this be the difference maker that they need. Because actually, a lot of these players very low in the kill department. 2 on 0, 2 on 1. And they've got really proactive on B. And actually loads of information to be found here. They've not heard anything ramp. And they've sent Nitro all the way to have a look.
They missed their smoke. They missed their smoke on Donut. You're going into a sight take, and you have no idea what's going on here. That trade on Breeze is one thing, but now you've got an open sight line for the up, who only grabs a leg.
That's so rough, and the fact that they can bounce back from that immediately. Automatic, there's a problem, and this is something we'll highlight at the end here. But these retakes, they feel like they're just not waiting. They've got no patience. They throw themselves head, body, mind, heart, and soul directly into it without even taking a moment to pause there. And NRG, they do have to just save here. Too far gone is this round, and their money not in a situation they can afford to lose either of these. Now, Nouns, they probably don't want to send too many people hunting. They've got 4, they've secured themselves the round. Maybe you send, you know, Rush, Junior, somebody to go have a little bit of a look. Because if you can take away these rifles, you know that you put them in a really bad spot. You're still not at a place that you're comfortable with your own money, however, to really want to throw away too much.
Yeah, and these 2 guns are integral for anything in the following round. Man, this feels like it's another round that NRG kind of come up short in, whether it's supposed to be a Nouns conversion or not. There's just so many different hiccups that it felt NRG couldn't possibly lose that round. You start with the missed donut smoke, which is a world of difference. Now, as an A-site anchor, it's not necessarily your job to win the round for your team, but one big piece is buying time. Those rotations, as you say, you take an extra couple of seconds to set them up. They're so much stronger, but they don't ever get that time because their site anchor falls so quick.
That they are. Nitro burning alive and so much information. If Norsak didn't do it, the Flame sure as hell would have. Now Junior finds one of his own hexed. White out in the open. This is a dangerous position. High risk, high reward, and all it is going to be is loss. Rush on the site. Junior, that little bit of a backstop here as well to hold any silly business from mid. But actually not even going to be needed because the call to save already made.
It's another round that stings, man. It's just these buys have not been going their way, and it's not even like they're long, gruesome rounds. Nouns just kind of win it off the jump. A lot of their initial game plan hasn't necessarily been entirely reliant on just running in and taking heads with you, but it's pretty damn close. It's almost feeling like every single time NRG are trying to get one step ahead of them, but end up falling behind long term. You see a great idea. They flash into B ramp. They fight it from 2 separate angles. They send 2 down from the B side and 1 flashed in from mid. And everywhere you look, it all falls apart. Whether it's for missed spacing, whether there's missing a flash or 2. It's just, it is a dumpster fire of a round, and it's another one that goes the way of Nouns. And another investment, mind you, as well. This is likely a save on the horizon. I don't imagine there's a great force to come through. If you want, maybe Hexed goes to like a FAMAS or something. Same with OC. But I guess I just may right now they're buying.
I'd say that, but honestly, with the results and the frags, or lack thereof, should I say, that we're seeing right now, I think that maybe the better option would to be eco and then try go in with the full weaponry and utility instead of try squeeze it out. But actually, I think they've got more than enough for a buy here. It might be a little bit lacking in the utility from the likes of Breezy, but everyone else should be able to get everything they need online. The only question is, if they don't buy here, are they saving to try get another AWP for OC? It doesn't look like it. I think maybe that's something they discussed in this little bit of a timeout.
I mean, you gotta craft up something. I think a lot of this for me is coming down to the way they've played around mid. You see a lot of teams on Ancient go for full-on mid aggression. They stall you out from taking it as a T. They make you wait ample time, and that can have a load of effects around the map, especially if they're a team that have heavily relied on taking the catwalk. You can stall them out. You can isolate them. You can make it a lot harder for them to push forward into a site with that, but this time around it's more reserved. Staying back in cave is Nitro for the opening pick.
There's Rush, immediate answer there. They're not going to let any of these opening duels go without some sort of a response. And it's quick, it's immediate, and it means that the round doesn't really spiral. Flash to get them round the corner there, and Molotov Hext won't be anywhere up close and personal, so that's not going to be too hard of a clear. But it's just going to back away to the back of site there. Has OC nearby for the rotates. Actually, the patience... doing their due diligence. There's the smokes and the molotovs that are going to get them onto site here. Just got to wait out the spam.
I'd imagine if they don't get a kill here, this is just going to shape up to be a save. There's so much utility to go against you, but as soon as I say that, a little too much offered up. Hex traded via HG. Not even necessarily needing to see him for the round to again fall apart, and NRG are still attempting to see what other choices do you have? Not many. But it doesn't make the situation any prettier. That was your only kit. Well, that's automatic found one somewhere in CT, though. And they're not going to give you anything in this. You can maybe take a look in, glance around, but moral of the story will be you saving that MP9 and trying to battle back from being down 6-0. This is the CT side of Ancient, too. And Nouns are almost making this look like a T-sided map.
I'm going to say something, maybe a little bit controversial here, and this is not a reflection on this game specifically, just a general CS2 observation of the past couple of months. It's just a really T-sided game at the moment. It feels like the T-sides have always been what's impressed me, and that everyone struggled on CT side, but the moment they got on CT, and a large part of it is the economy, but also, I think it's so weird. I don't know if it's just me, I don't know if it's just recency bias, but... The T-sides have been spicy recently.
And it's only spicier when you add the combination of the Nouns players. Again, it's not even a game where Junior's taking over. It's pretty much everybody else. He's had his impact, sure, but this has been the Georgian or Us show again, dude. I don't even know where that kill or shot came from, but heck, Nitro and Hex to both started this round on, like, no HP.
It is rough. If that had been a kill, could have been a little bit of a breathing room, a bubble of air in what is quite a vast ocean for them right now. But they've managed to whittle down the health a little bit of George and CJ. And so hopefully they can build off the back of that. Lovely Molotov to force the fight there. And there we go, finally even on numbers. They have actually something in the back of their minds. They've called the rotates over towards B. They have to be oh so careful of casting, however.
I mean, they're suspicious of this. You've got OC running back with no idea since he spawned. The assumption was that he would be late lurking mid, something like that. But that giving up angle is going to cost them dividends because he is wrecking them through and through in CT spawn. Automatic. Yeah, it doesn't help that he didn't get a kill back in Cat, but realistically speaking, didn't matter if he did. Nouns have just got this so well orchestrated that even when things go wrong, they know how to build off of it.
Indeed. Another time up being called here, and they're burning through them really quickly, and you can see why something needs to change. You know what? I think it's in moments like this that we really need to call upon the wisdom of G2 Taz, where they just need to get some rounds, you know? To win, they just need to get rounds. But jokes aside, I think I'd love to see a bit of a switch up of the pace, because it feels like the pacing has been really, really odd. It feels like it has been always just a little bit too quick. I want them to play really passive. I want them to play for these retakes, but I want them to wait for their teammates and coordinate a little bit more for these retakes. I think is what I can see maybe breaking this stalemate, and there's a fumbled smoke, and all hope I had, it starts to dwindle a little bit, but again, it's the first 10 seconds of the round, fully redeemable.
Okay, the good news for them right now is that there's no players of Nouns trying to take B Catwalk. That's a good and bad thing because they're still sold on trying to take this map control. But look at where they've gone in the meanwhile. Nouns fully collapse into A. The only one here is OC, and he does his job.
That he does. Opener, and more importantly, they haven't found a trade just yet. This is the difference maker. Rush is going to be the one to do it. They can hear the sound cue, and they know that he's there, and Junior from behind, straight into the back of the head, and he's going for a little bit more as well. Sight, borderline empty. There's Carson going to be taken on down, but that bomb already there. And actually, it looks like they're already wanting to back away a little bit. Junior holding for mid, however, just in case they try sneak round donut, just in case they try escape through mid. And NRG, they don't even see it worth it. Back away, no kit available, and well, I'd definitely say the right call there, but you got to look at it. I always try to be really nice, and I hate calling out
go off.
frag departments, right?
Let them know.
But when you've got 3 players who are going into round number 9 and only have 1 kill each, there's a problem. There's clearly something wrong here. And you can talk about how Junior is so quick on the trigger, that Rush is getting these amazing openings. You have to find a way to get a kill somehow, though. I don't care whether it's with the utility. You need to do something, because having 3 players on 1 kill each going into round 9, that's... You can try sugarcoat it as much as possible, but I'll get flack in Twitch chat for trying to defend it. There is a certain point where you've just got to be like, you need to get some kills.
There's a difference too, right? To your credit, there's a lot of times where you see stat lines like this, and you can throw it up to, oh, you know, it's just really good flashing, really good space taking, but NRG are just kind of getting out-aimed right now. There's no misdirection, there's no smoke and mirrors, there's no make Nouns look here and then, you know, swing in from the back and have a free kill. That's not happening. Here, again, you're gonna see them pop open the smoke. This is just an honest dodge duel they're taking, and this has happened for a majority of the game. That's just you getting out-dueled, and it seems automatic steps back into play to change that.
This is nice, having more presence over there and managing to get the trade kills. And this is the thing that we talked about, is getting the kills and the trades when they need to come through. They get the first one, and then they manage to spiral after that, and they put a round on the board for them. And you can see automatically, this is what we talked about, is that there's more kills already. Doubled kills, and automatic, quadrupled his number of kills in 1 round. Beautiful 3K to finally get something going. But it's one of those things that frags don't mean everything if they're having impact, right? But you do also have to have them in the first place. And NRG, they actually played that really well. They were hitting their marks, getting those trades, and it allowed for them to go 1 to 1 to 1 to 1 and come out on top there.
They're going to do it again. Try to run out, DM their way into a round win. This time seems like there's more hesitation. This is what you need to see more of. That misdirection on the chaos. Flashes coming in and blinding up players.
I think, therefore, I am with confidence here. And now Hex, not really sure what to look. The flashbangs are amazing, but the issue is they're kind of backfiring a little bit here. But gets 2. OC's found 1 of his own, and now Carson, the only one left alive, isn't even going to be allowed to plant. Backside, just tapped away. And that's the second round under conversion. Now, the difficulty that they're going to have is, this is looking really promising. They figured out that the super fast plays is what's working for them. They've decided that maybe the aggressive wasn't enough. Really aggressive is where it is. But at some point, probably now that a timeout's being called, Nouns is going to sit back and go, okay, now we know what they're doing and what's worked for them. How do we adapt to counteract this completely nuts style of early round, right? So do we play super passive? Do we go even more aggressive? Have this discussion about how to counteract the one thing that has now worked for NRG and how to stop it happening again.
I think if you're going to see a change from Nouns, it's going to be a lot more slower out of the gates. We haven't really seen them stick back to a default. I'm talking like back behind B doors, outside mid, just holding for a push, maybe set someone up in A-tons. And I'm thinking a couple of rounds ago where it is just a full-out A-pop from Nouns. I'm thinking once a half. I feel like there's almost no games you can find where it doesn't happen, where a T-side just full execs A. They've long-term conditioned you to maybe try to fight for catwalk or mid, and it's just a vacancy, right? Here, I would expect it to be more reserved. As soon as I say that, they go running out mid.
Indeed. Now, there's Breezy with the first one. A little bit of damage onto Carson as well is always nice, and this is a dangerous position to be in. Stood in the middle of the smoke, because the moment it fades, you are done for. Rush does manage to find a little bit of a consolation kill to make sure that the tables aren't turned too heavily here. Nitro spots an elbow. The issue is automatic. A little bit of trigger discipline. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, and Rush, in the meantime, has already found so much, and now they can just peel away. They have the bomb. They've brought everyone over to A, and now they can go anywhere they damn well please.
Gotta be quick about this, though, because you saw Breeze creep through that CT smoke. He was suspicious of something like this happening. It was a risk, maybe not well warranted, but the reward is certainly there. Now they know exactly what Nouns are doing. However, they just can't get to the site in time. Rush already set up to take a fight through CT.
There's the spam, and Rush with another 2. It's impeccable, and the fact that there's nothing in response, that he manages to get them without even flinching. Now automatic. Last round, well, penultimate round of the half, sorry. You can go for it if you want, but also you've got a kit, you've got armor, you've got a weapon, you've got a molly. That's just too much money to be throwing away, especially when Nitro is on nothing. Might be able to win this fight out here. Matter of timing. He does actually get it. Now back away, but he is being chased. Long range fight. He has the angle because he has the high ground and will get both. Timer, of course, way too far gone. The round is beyond saving. But at least he does a little bit of damage there. I want to say economic damage. Look at the numbers, Anthran.
Yeah.
It's not really economic damage if they're sat on that much anyway.
Nah, at that point, you're kind of just playing for your own confidence. You mentioned
Yeah.
earlier, I still think there's a lot of great ground to the point you present about you can't have 3 players on 1 kill. But it wasn't just 3 players on 1 kill. It was all 3 of your B players on 1 kill. Haxed,
Yeah.
automatic, Nitro. We're stuck on that margin for so long. In counts, just constantly getting pounded at B. And you saw holes start to open up.
Now, talking of opening up mid, NRG's playground once again. They're not even going to be contested here. I think Nouns realized that running directly into mid and trying to hide in the smoke didn't work for them for the first time, or the second time, or the third. But they learned, and they have stopped doing it. And so they are just deciding to head elsewhere, push these extremities, and unfortunately they push right into OC's gun barrel. Now, George, this Molotov could really, really sell it here. They've already taken one down, and you could write that off as a lurk, right? A second one and a molly invested, maybe a little bit more questions raised here. They haven't managed to spot how far Rush has got, though. But they've got so many eyes here. The crossfire is so well established. Junior trying to get something, anything, nothing to be found. And now it's George, who is trying to sell a fake. Didn't do a very good job at selling it. And now, going to be the last one to drop. It's going to be 9-3 going into the half. 3 rounds salvaged from the absolute tear that Nouns was on here, ripping up the battlefield that is Ancient, and now a pistol round really, really necessary right now for NRG to even try keep themselves in this game. Of course, it's not over till it's over, but you let Nouns get 10-3, 11-3, and suddenly your job goes from huge to behemoth.
It's so much harder nowadays to come back in halves like this after you drop the pistol. It's just such an insurmountable gap in MR12, and already I would say off to a poor start, but they've actually forced the aggressors and A-Tons off. Instead, they look elsewhere, now in mid.
Larson, ooh, tagged, but are they going to expect him to have gone forward? Takes the initial fight, actually dueling with 1, 2, 3 more heads keep popping out. It's like whack-a-mole. Junior does find one, maybe that is a little bit of room for them to work with. OC here, if he can find even one, that's huge. A lot of damage done, and maybe just enough, because every single one of these players, one bullet could be the end of them. That bomb is going to go down for NRG. Suddenly, things looking a lot nicer for them. A timer looming above Nouns' head. Dancing around the corner. A quick reload for Rush here. But this crossfire they've established is pretty scary.
Oh my god, they just dismantled it though with one fell swoop. CJ the King, that's probably the hardest kill to get in the whole round. I say that though as Automatic with his head turned only seems to need one bullet when he's on a swivel like that. And you mentioned what it can look like. You give 12, maybe, or 10, maybe even 11 to Nouns. Well, you don't have to worry about that now. Win yourselves a pistol and you're right back in it.
9-3 is the new Zonix law. Niori's Cuss, I believe it is now being dubbed. But it's the same theory as Onyx Law with 11-4. It's that it's actually a lot closer of a scoreline than you realize if you take that pistol and then you convert the rounds off the back of it. That suddenly it's really easy to lose, and maybe it's a little bit deceptive at face value. So who knows? Maybe we see that coming into effect here. NRG, they actually managed to avoid the gamble stack here, and where the Nouns want to go for it, they've got a couple of upgraded weapons and a single flashbang left, and there's no reason really not to. And NRG, they just have to do their due diligence and play this safely.
Yeah, I think Nouns have no interest in going back in for this. It's not even necessarily the fact that they're trying to keep these guns in the next round, but more so prohibit NRG from getting bonus cash. You don't know what's on this bonus. You don't know if it's MAC 10s, and you'd rather not find out. So maybe in the end, one man steps a little too far in line. You set him back in his. You take a gun. All's well that ends well as you go into your full purchase. But hey, it's not bad, right? Couple pistols start grouping up on catwalks. Get a couple frags out of it. Nothing too shabby. But a couple rebuys first. Draw the hands as you shake them. Now 9-5. And you head into the first rifle intrigued as to what Nouns bring onto the playing field, because you mentioned it, how was kind of bar for bar aggression in that first half. Nouns, they weren't scared to go running in, but NRG, it felt they were a little too hot to trot. Now, I almost imagine if that stays the same case, if Nouns keep up with that pressure and just try to run it down their throats.
I think it's a very different matter on T side, isn't it? You can be really wildly aggressive and people praise you for it. On CT side, people sort of raise their eyebrow and go, what on earth are you doing? But Junior finally has that AWP out. There's not really much utility to support it, however, is my main worry here. There's one of the big pieces of utility gone, trying to defend that donut position. And Junior, player that we highlighted at the start, a Kadia player to watch this series. It's got a really nice long line of sight, but there's so much utility to just shut this down. A single molly or smoke there, and he is locked out of the initial fight.
Such a massive portion of the map to hang on to. That's why you see the second man rotate in. Carson and CJ tasked with one of the biggest defenses of the round, and they've answered the call. 2 kills, unanswered 4. The bomb is spotted in A main. They know it's an A approach, and they've got Junior pretty much collecting debts, even if a shot's missed. A 1v5 now explodes in the face of Nitro, and they're going to push him down. They don't care.
They've got George already on the case here, and What I want to see is I want to see George sit still and not do anything because he's going to hear the footsteps potentially. Doesn't need to. Slow, silent, deadly assassin just to take away any weapons there. And it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable for NRG coming into this for some of these players. Others, they're going to be able to buy a couple of Tech 9s. I expect a couple of Deagles to be seen here as well on the likes of Breezy and Hexed. But for everyone else, very quiet round, and final timeout being called here. Now, this is a little bit scary because this round isn't likely to be one that they have the best buy for, so it's unlikely to be a round that we see them take the victory with, right? And then if they do want to come for this comeback, they will have no more timeouts to try keep this momentum up. And I don't know. This is a scary position to be in here. They are going to force into it, however. It's going to be messy. What's Nitro going to go for is the question. Tech 9. There we go. Tech 9 and a whole load of utility.
I guess I understand the purchase from NRG's perspective, right? You buy on 11, you save on 12, you buy into the last. So it makes the most sense to go for a very scrappy buy here, whereas you'd kind of feature one of these anyway, and you'd rather it be now than later. But this also does kind of rely on you getting a bomb plant. So their idea, ace in the hole, rush me, and they are met by heavy artillery.
Heavy artillery indeed. 2 nade kills, and George throwing his name into the hat as well. Junior makes that orb absolutely ring out. And now they are hunting down this final kill. There is 11, and that's the damning situation, isn't it? Because now, we talked about it, they buy into that one with the attempts to stave off 11, right? But now they go into the round that will secure Nouns map, and technically, because we're doing 2 best of 1s, series point number 1. But it's going to be a rough climb back if they want to see overtime. And there's a certain level of believing that I can do. We've seen some incredible comebacks. I just think that Nouns are so hot today that it's just damage control now.
Yeah, well, now you got to worry about the flip side of what we came into this series talking about. We mentioned how NRG's potential was to secure and lock down that second seed. Well, now you've got to worry about being 4th, because it's not like you're going to drop a spot to Nouns. At this point, you'd still have to, I believe, I'm not mistaken, I think this is their last best of 2 in ECL for the season. But still, point is, I don't believe there's a world they can necessarily lose the seeding spot to Nouns later on down the line. However, Wildcard absolutely can. Wildcard are only 1 map behind them right now in ECL. If they go 2-0 in their final series and you get 2-0 here, which current track record ain't really boding to NRG's favoritism, all of a sudden you go from being what could have been the 2nd seed to the 4th, or hell, maybe even 5th seed.
I'm with you. I think this is NRG's last match. Nouns still have 1 to go. 2 best of 1s to go after this. And that is against Mythic. But yeah, this is it. This is our final round of the group stage for NRG. OC.
I don't know where this round came from. This was just a blink, and all of a sudden Nouns have been thrusted out kind of round. I don't know how they get back in. I don't know how things go so wrong for Nouns, but OC just put the team on his back. He started this round with a deagle. He ends it with an op and a hat trick, and NRG end it with a 6th. Now is where the money game can really start to commence too. This will be a full rebuy from everybody on the board beyond CJ for Nouns. No more safety net established. Full buy for NRG, who now, instead of staving off 12, get to contend before it's even series point. And you want to talk about deceptive scores, this can fall right into that book. You're going to start getting these rounds at a fire sale price of 2 for 1 if Nouns don't come right back at you.
That indeed. I think that previous round as well is for all of those OC haters that are now OC apologists as well. Who I think many are coming to see that OC with the right team is an amazing over. Automatic gets 1, but Carson 2 to try and deal with it. It goes back and forth, and it's so scrappy. A proper bloodbath in the ring today, and now 2v2 Rush taking a little bit of damage here, but you look at the utility still available for Nouns. And in a 2v2, maybe marginally less important, And the opportunities to use it can get a little bit difficult, easy to be overrun when there's only 2 of you to cover the whole of the map. But actually, they've got the whole of the site. The issue is that Hext is in a wild position and could so easily just put the thorn in the backside. There's the kill onto Junior, and there's the empty bomb site. Rush has got to come on over, and I'll contend with the 2v1.
That's just off timing, and Rush is certainly going for this. They put it all on the cards here. They've got pretty much everything you can ask for to attempt to clutch. Well set up as the last 2 remaining members of NRG, both playing around the fire, but a little off the mark. Rush, the first on Hex, the second not so good. Breezy did give him a chance, but it's one not seized, and now NRG continue to crawl back at that gap.
Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. This gap isn't looking very scary anymore. This has gotten quite out of hand quite quickly here for Nouns. They're still in a very strong position, but the issue is their financial padding's kind of gone. This round is going to be a hero rifle and nothing but.
I don't know how much I like this, but
I guess we'll find out. That hero rifle, unfortunately, is not going to be on the site where the action's happening either. He's relying on his teammates in the pistols. They've had these eco rounds be very successful against them. Now it's their turn to turn the tides, and Hext crawling on up. Not been spotted yet. Smoke.
See you too. That sucks. That sucks. CJ had just rotated in and everything, but they can't get the flash off in time. Rifle's picked up. It's not the biggest of losses. Rush has got it right in his hands. But what good is cave control to you if you only got a USP? Well, that good is Junior just walks up and takes a head with him. At this point, though, with the round so desolate, I'd almost imagine Rush's only objective is to survive. No head armor, though, or rather no armor in general, makes aim punch quite the cruel mistress. Carson's just playing for exits.
Yeah, this one, bit done and dusted, and there's not even going to be a weapon to retrieve. Everyone died on site, and he is not going to be allowed to see that. But 11-8, suddenly 3 rounds difference. Yeah, it's not over till it's over. Nouns, they can buy into this one. It's, as you said, it's rough. You know, Rush watched his teammate rotate all the way over and got to witness as the bullet pierced his skull. And you gotta feel bad for it. That one's gotta hurt. Even if he had been there, I don't think it would have changed the outcome if he hadn't died there. I think that, you know, it was just an unfortunate kill that toppled the rest, but someone would have been the first to go. Now, second timeout being called here from Nouns. They are also having a bit of a discussion, trying to figure out what is going wrong for them. And this is where we talk about the fact that it's starting to feel like a very T-sided game.
I mean, hey, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. That's kind of what we're seeing, as both T-sides have completely taken over the match. And NRG have quite the opportunity on their hands to take away this lead. Well, maybe not this round, but only a hop, skip, and a jump away leaves Nouns without an op, leaves them with less utility than to be desired, and most notably, no kits. This round is almost entirely going to come down to if NRG gets 1 or 2 openers. They crack into a bomb site, I guess pretty much unfazed with 2 kills. Nouns are going to call it off.
Ooh, Carson really aggressive here, and actually is going to go 1-for-1, but CJ, that's the difference maker. Unfortunately, Hexed from up the top there, that is going to equalize them once again, and this is something that NRG, they struggled with, was these early duels, keeping themselves even on the trades here. OC, that's huge. That's a massive one to find. George gets both. Another.
That's a big one from Nouns. They've not only just shot through the wall, but they've mistimed it. So Hex does get traded. It's 2-on-2. That's all fine and well, but NRG now know nobody inhabits the A site right now. You get to set up, you get to get a bomb plant, you have free sight line into CT, and OC saw at least one of them cross. You know they're stuck at temple, and they don't have utility to come back in. They have to out-duel their opponent.
And that's the way to do it. You don't get them give them the line of sight. You chip away through the wood that you know you're hiding behind. And there it is, the wide swing Ferrari speeds. And finally, the curse is broken. And match point is finally achieved for Nouns. And they're probably wondering, why couldn't we have done this just a little bit sooner? But they get it done. They have the money to replenish any of the weaponry that they lost. Maybe a little bit light on some of the util. And NRG, this is fine for them. They've built up a bit of economy. They're still very much in a position to contend here. But their winning streak, something that they were very relying on inertia for a little bit there as well. They are now going to have to kick themselves back into gear off the back of that. And just treat it more as a speed bump than a setback. Because 4 rounds in a row needed. It's possible. They've literally just done it. Need to say it again.
They go right back to what they thought worked before, mid-control, but they're met by heavy hellfire. Drop to 45, automatic, and OC won't be contending for very long in this round. Now Nouns sit back pretty. They don't actually have a lot to worry about just yet. They've fully stacked 4 on this B side. Very, very confident in their gamble. Maybe currently ill-read, as right now NRG are suspicious elsewhere. Currently nobody resides in A main. They've left the entire A site's defense to one man's reign, the king of CJ. In which he's not had the most impressive game, but it's also not been quiet. It'll be up to him to stop them from taking this map control. Not about delaying a site take. At that point, if they exec in, he's not stopping them. He's just holding donut.
Yep, that is your goal, is to live long enough for your teammates to go over. But the fact that they've heard nothing B, you can see they are quickly running on over. The smoke in mid, it's all starting to add up for them. And the fact that they have got ahead of this curve here could be huge. The fact that they've managed to get Carson and Rush over could be everything. Carson gets the first there. Rush has found another. Going for a little bit more, and they're chipping away. And that's just going to mean that Rush can farm on up. Puts them into the wood chipper. And Hex, it has to be a final stand. There's the first 4 more needed. It's going to need to be the ace. And unfortunately, Crossfire well established on this position, and he will not get any further. And that is going to be Nouns taking map number 1 of the evening. And I was going to say in style, it was a very stylish start. A little bit slower towards the end, and we've got to give NRG credit there. They managed to keep their cool, and they saw the daunting scoreline, but they still managed to bring back to what I'd say is, it's a respectable